the content objectives section is one of the hardest to explain. And I think that's because content is a word that sort of means stuff, things. And there's a reason for that. So it's easiest to understand by contrasting it with the next section, which is going to be language objectives. So objectives are also, you can think of it as a list of skills. And so I like to phrase this as life skills or subject area skills. So for example, are students going to need a certain knowledge of geometry in order to complete the product that you have envisioned? Are students going to need a certain knowledge of edible plants in order to complete the product? Whatever skills they are going to need in order to do the product that you are envisioning that do not have to do with the language they're speaking, knowledge that they have about the world, about math, science, art, home ec, history, literature, literacy, whatever skills they need that are not dependent on a certain language that are going to be used and developed through this unit go in this list. This is a list of skills, but it is listed as objectives. Why? Because if I say make a list of skills, someone will say wood carving. How do I know if someone has wood carving skills? There's a lot of different wood carving skills. Instead, they need to be phrased as students will be able to, something they will be able to do. What will they be able to do? It's an objective. If I'm going to be able to see or hear them do it, I'm going to be able to say, yeah, they can do it, or they can't do it. So that is how you write it as an objective. Students or learners will be able to blank, blank, blank. Here are some words that cannot be used because they do not relate to observable skills or what we would call measurable objectives. So I have to be able to see you do it. I have to be able to measure some way, yes or no, 50%, 100%. I have to be able to tell whether you achieved this at the end or not. It's my objective. Did I make it to my objective or not? So some words that cannot be used in this section are know, K-N-O-W. Students will know something. I have no way to know what they know. If they take a test for me and they mark answers, all that tells me is whether they were able to mark the right answers. It does not tell me what they know. Knowing something is invisible to me. I cannot observe you knowing anything. I can observe you telling me about it. I can observe you answering questions about it. I can observe you correcting my mistakes about it, but I cannot observe you knowing it. So the word know, to know something, is out. Cannot be used in this section. Same with understand. I cannot measure you understanding something. I can only measure you explaining it back to me or demonstrating it for me or doing a trial in front of me. I cannot measure you understanding it, and I cannot measure you remembering it. Those cannot be there. Students cannot know, students cannot understand, students cannot remember anything. There are some similar words, but those are the big ones. Those are verbs that I cannot observe you doing or not doing, being able to or not able to. So when it says students will be able to, tell me what they're going to do. There's another wrong answer. Another wrong answer is students will be able to name. That is not a skill. That is a memorized regurgitation of facts. Also, students will be able to list. Students will be able to identify. Those are regurgitations of facts that you've fed them. Those are not skills. Students will be able to do what? What will they do with their hands, their body, their face, their mind? What will they do? Students will be able to blah, blah, blah. Learners will be able to blah, blah, blah. Those are your objectives because someone will be able to sit there and listen to them or watch them and know that they are able or they are not able to. That is what they will do. This should be a relatively short section, so you may do some brainstorming first. You're going to focus on those skills, those objectives that are new or newish to them. So don't say students will be able to say hello if they've been saying hello for 15 years. say something that's actually being developed through this project, but also something that is actually the focus of and relevant to this project. So if you say that students are going to develop a fashion line, design their own clothing, don't say students will recognize the denominations of money. We can't say recognize anyway, but students will be able to utilize correct denominations of money. Because, like, yeah, that'll come up in the process, but it's not relevant to the product, which is the fashion line. So what is that? So, but perhaps knowing how to design a garment to fit a certain size and knowing how to size them and knowing how to change the size of a garment, that is a skill that they would definitely be developing through this. So that would make sense. But don't put something that just randomly occurs for just a few seconds. It's something that you're working on, that you're developing, because this is a place not only where you're going to tell students what they're going to be gaining and you're going to be evaluating them, but where you can tell parents and administrators and leaders, this is what skills were developed through this work. It looks like they were just having fun. It looks like it was a crazy workshop. It looks like it was a fun art project, but actually we were making sure that they gained the ability to skills. Content skills are everything that is not language. It does not have to do with what language they're speaking. It's something that they know how to do or don't know how to do. So fill those in and pare them down to the 3, maybe 4 most important.